Welcome back, everybody, to the Blues feed. It's another episode, same session of Chelsea Football Club. We smashed Ajax 5-1. Estevao is the next Ballon d'Or winner. Hato looks brilliant. We got rest all round, so we're happy today. We're going to just have a quick reaction to it, talk about what we thought. Before we get into it, though, just a reminder of the 1K subscriber giveaway. Pop a subscribe, pop a comment down below, and enter. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we are giving away a Chelsea jersey of your choice. So to get into it, mate, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. Happy with the win. All good, and it's very positive around the club at the minute. Looking forward to the weekend now, and yeah, just really impressed with what I saw last night. I thought, obviously, we're going to come on to it fully in a minute, but I thought there was certain players who needed 90 minutes, that got 90 minutes, and most importantly, performed well. Yeah, overall pretty impressed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think we ever really got out of like third gear because we didn't need to, because they kept giving us penalties and conceding silly goals and getting a red card. But yeah, I mean, it was everything it needed. I mean, you got Fernandes didn't play more than 45. Lavia played more than 60. Caicedo played 48 minutes after we went 4-1 up. James didn't play at all. Josh only played like 40 minutes. So, I mean, even somebody like Sanchez got a rest, which is probably not a bad thing, at least mentally, let alone physically. Cucurella didn't play a minute. Estevao continued to impress. So, yeah, I mean, from a rest perspective, mate, it was fantastic. I personally had a little bit of criticism at the start of the game for Caicedo at right back. That's not a reflection on Caicedo or even really like playing a right back as a midfielder at right back, even though that does wind me up. It was more that Caicedo is probably the only one that's irreplaceable in our whole entire side, and you're playing him at right back to rest your right backs with two right backs on the bench. Obviously, I would imagine that Caicedo wasn't going to start, and Gusto would have played if he didn't become ill. But that was my only kind of moan. But fair play to Maresca. As soon as that fourth goal came in, I mean, don't think Caicedo even was allowed to celebrate. I think he got hooked before he could even run to celebrate with everyone. So, yeah, it was good for Maresca. Good minutes into some players. I like that Guiu got a goal as well and then got taken off at half time, which in my opinion, is due to the fact he'll probably play at the weekend at 9, which I really like. We'll obviously go on to Sunderland game in our Sunderland episode that will come out later. But yeah, I mean, anything you want to add on, like kind of Maresca's use of the squad or resting before we kind of go into any of the performances?
Yeah, I thought he managed it perfectly. To be honest with you, the lineup was a little bit different than what I expected it to be. I'm never too fussed about the Caicedo at right back thing because realistically, he just defends the channel. He's always in possession. He's in midfield anyway, and he's like we saw in the first half. He can still be on the edge of the box taking shots and being involved with the build-up, which is good. I think it was great to get 90 minutes into the likes of Fofana and Estevao and Gittins and Hato as well. Players that haven't had loads of minutes in the last month or so. But, yeah, I thought everybody, bar Tosin and the goalkeeper, everybody gave us at least a 7 out of 10, to be honest. So, yeah, overall, just really happy with the way it went and the way the game was managed, and more importantly, the way the players that have been injured recently or the players that need minutes have been managed as well.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, no, I think it was very good all round. I mean, the emphasis from the club is we're going to judge Maresca on how he does in the cups, where he finishes in the league, but also squad utilisation, resting of players, and not overusing players to give injuries. So I think it was all round. Couldn't have really gone better outside of Tosin having a brain fart and Jorgensen's paper wrists. Outside of that, I mean, it was pretty perfect, to be completely honest. So to kind of go on to that, really, mate, and the only kind of negatives, I mean, Tosin's probably the oldest player in the squad, but continues to play like an 18-year-old. I just don't really know what he was even thinking going for the challenge when you're 2-0 up against 10 men, giving him a lifeline into the game, and then Jorgensen proving that even though Sanchez is terrible, he's nowhere near as good as Sanchez, which is worrying.
Yeah, 100%. I just think that even in a 5-1 win, the only negatives you can take out of it is still the goalkeeper and the centre backs, and it's one of them things that no matter what happens on the pitch or off it, that's just the same stories that keep getting brought back up. But it's a 5-1 win, so let's focus predominantly on the positives.
Absolutely. I mean, and on that point, for the positives of that, I think if you look at the squad now, with the likes of like Penders and Sarr and Anselmino and Quenda and stuff like that coming to the squad next year, I think the only kind of 3 positions, maybe 4 were the tentative, but the 3 positions I only see that we need to really worry about now are a goalkeeper, which we hope Penders is going to fix, a centre back, which obviously with Josh playing well, Levi to come back, Sarr and Sormino looking good on their loans, maybe that helps, and maybe an addition in the summer as well. And then the only other one I have question marks is on left wing. Obviously, Gittins played very well yesterday, and Garnacho did play against Liverpool. But I'd probably say left wing's probably the only one where we don't really have a true up-and-coming great talent to come through in that place. And I know that the club are actually aware of that for sure. But yeah, I think outside of that, mate, we're pretty stacked in most positions. And then the tentative one was 9. I'm just not sure. Pedro's a 9, and obviously we need to see how Delap progresses. But we do have Omega and Statapev and Guiu all kind of coming up as well. So
it's just about that. Like we mentioned previously, that couple of years that we sort of got to wait before these players are all peaking, because they're going to be inconsistent because of their age and their experience, etc. And yes, on paper we look stacked in certain areas, and we got some fantastic talent. But unfortunately, not everyone's an Estevao that, no matter their age, that they're just already an elite player. And sometimes you just have to wait. But yeah, I think overall it's just positives all round at the moment, which is good. Obviously, we know what Chelsea are like. One bad result can change that. But at the minute, everything's feeling good. And the one positive, or probably the biggest positive that come out of the game last night that we've not even spoken about, is that my man and the match prediction was bang on.
Yeah, mate. I mean, you went 3-0, which obviously, I mean, you're never going to predict a 5-1, but you went 3-0, and you had Guiu and Estevao to score, so you got 2 goal scorers right, and your man of the match. And I don't think anybody was ever going to predict 5-1, so I don't think you could have got the full house really.
I don't think many would have predicted Gittins to get man of the match either, so I'll take that one.
Yeah, we'll just leave it as that it was a good choice. I won't tell the listeners the actual reason you chose Gittins, but we'll leave it as a unbelievable scouting. Yeah, absolute scout ball knowledge, mate.
We'll exactly. That's all it was. It was pure knowledge.
Yeah, pure knowledge, mate. Get you in the scouting room at Chelsea, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
And we got the new Joe Shields. I think, just to kind of wrap up the episode, mate, and kind of go through the performance from a positive perspective, I thought Fafana was solid at 90 minutes. Good to get him back in. I mean, he was cramping up a bit at the end, but that's pretty natural. I mean, he hardly played much football at all, and then didn't really play for 3 weeks. I thought Hato just didn't put a foot wrong. I thought he was outstanding in a big game in the Champions League. Probably only his second start, and against his old club, I thought he handled the situation very well, and looks very positive from a cover of Cucurella and a rest from Cucurella. And I mean, if he keeps playing like that and progressing towards the end of the season, he might even be pushing Cucurella to start.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. And again, I think he'll also be pushing to start a left centre back soon as well. I think it'll get to a point, and obviously it feels very sort of inexperienced if you had Josh and Hato there. But at the end of the day, age is only a number, and if you're good enough, you're old enough. So I genuinely think with the options we have available, Toasting's got a brain fart in him, as we've seen. Trev's a little inconsistent. Fafana's made of paper mache. I genuinely think there'll be a time in the season that we'll end up with a Hato and Achampong pairing, and I think we'll end up settling that probably could be our best pairing. I think the only reason maybe in the first game or so it won't be is because Hato's a little bit in and out at the moment, but the amount of fixtures we've got coming up, he's going to be playing once a week anyway. Like
Yeah.
we've got Wolves in the cup next midweek, so you'd imagine the likes of Hato are going to start that again. So yeah, I think it is. There's so many positives at the minute, and I think our squad is so much better than it was last year. And like you think of some of the lineups we had in the Conference League games, we really look like we've got a solid squad and good backup in each position. Although the quality of sort of the centre backs and the goalkeepers aren't ideal, we still have good, solid backups in pretty much every position.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see Hato playing that left centre back role. I mean, he's so comfortable on the ball that he could be the one that does the build up. I mean, the only thing that would not concern me, but the reservations would be physicality wise and then height. But I mean, if he's playing against Josh, who's like 6'4", 6'5", like it might not be a bad thing. But he'd be so good on the ball. Against more low blocky teams like Sunderland, I couldn't have, I wouldn't have any issue with playing him in that kind of role. Um, to move on to the midfield as well, I think Lavia looked very sharp, which is good. Um, and again, another few minutes in his legs without any injuries. Hopefully, he doesn't do his usual and will be injured for the weekend after playing. Because it'd be great to have him back. He's so good on the ball, and he's so sharp. I mean, he's ridiculous. Um, Enzo Fernandez, I want to give a shout out to him actually because I thought it was fantastic captaincy from him. He scored the penalty, obviously took charge of it and scored his goal to make sure we went the go-ahead goal and consolidate. But then after Estevao won the penalty and he'd already scored, giving Estevao that chance to score and kind of just keep building on that confidence for Estevao, I think was fantastic. I don't know if you want to add anything on that.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. I wondered when, because the penalties were in such quick succession, and obviously Estevao won, Enzo won the first one, and Estevao won the second one. I did wonder whether we'd do it. That was my initial reaction, and then I thought after the penalty instances we've had in previous years, Maresca and even back when Poch was in charge, have always said penalty taker is the penalty taker. It doesn't matter who it is, that player will take the penalty. I sort of had a bit of sort of second thinking, but yeah, it was superb leadership, giving him that extra bit of confidence. Not that Esteban needs any confidence; he's so expressive on the ball and shows his confidence every time he gets it. But just to get your first Champions League goal in a game like that, it settles nerves, and not that it ever looks like he's got any. But yeah, it's superb from Enzo Fernandez, and what a penalty it was as well by Estevao.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we'll talk Estevao for a couple of minutes in a second after we've rounded out the rest of the side. But I agree with you. He doesn't look nervous on the ball, and he's very expressive. But I mean, I don't know if you saw the interview he did after the game with TNT, but he said that usually he has a nap every afternoon to kind of stay kind of focused and energized and everything like that. But he couldn't because he had so many nerves about starting his first game for Chelsea in the Champions League. So even though he doesn't look at it when he's on the ball, he obviously is internally. So by Fernandez doing that is only going to make him more and more confident. I mean, I said at the start of the season, I think he'll have a Yamin Yamal type season where once he starts playing and starting, he won't be able to take him out the side, and he'll be our starting right winger. So,
Yeah,
um, yeah, I think we're doing well to manage him, but soon you're just gonna have to take the shackles off and let him play. But we'll talk Estevao in a second. Um, we'll we'll say with Guiu, obviously for only 45 minutes he got his goal, but I mean he's just such a handful. He's so aggressive. He presses ridiculously high. He harasses the defense and just creates goals and opportunities just out of pure and utter chaos. So yeah, I thought it was a good performance against him for him. Great that he got. I think personally, great he came off at 45 because he'll probably start the weekend.
yeah.
Anything else you want to say on Guiu?
No, I don't think so, Matt. I think you've summed that up perfectly. Yeah, he's got to start the weekend for me and carry on. We've got to have that nine, and that focal point is so important for us. But yeah, no, I think you summed it up
Absolutely.
perfectly.
Then to go on to your man of the match prediction pre-game and man of the match in real life, Jamie Gittins, I thought it was probably his best performance in a Chelsea shirt. Very creative and very threatening, which is good to see because I actually, before he joined, I thought he was more of a goal threat than a creative threat. So if his goal threat comes in as well as showing this creativeness, I think you've got a good side. Sorry, a good player to add to the side, and I think actually him and Garnacho are going to push each other quite well. So I thought it was a very good performance by him, and probably silence quite a few of the idiots who claiming that he's rubbish after
agreed.
about 6 performances.
He's just going to be a confidence player. That's what he's going to be. And he had a great international break. He's come back. He come on well Saturday. He come on and played well Saturday. He was fantastic last night. And I think there's certain players you can get away with giving them minutes, letting them play well, and then resting them. And I think Gittins is one of them. Is you got to play him when he's hot, and when he's not so hot, rest him and maybe leave him out. So hopefully he'll start again on Saturday and continue what we've seen from him in that game. So yeah, fingers crossed. And like I say, man of the prediction, top draw.
I couldn't agree more. I think actually, in hindsight, the way that we dealt with Mudryk is probably the opposite of what we want to do with Gittins. I think anytime Mudryk played well, he then didn't play for a few games, and anytime he played rubbish, he definitely didn't play for any period of time. And I think if you had somebody who could have managed Mudryk a bit better, I think we might have maybe got a bit more out of him. Because Potts just playing for 30 minutes, he looked great, and then you wouldn't see him for 3 weeks, which didn't help him, and he's such a confidence player. So, yeah, I mean, it's on Maresca. He's got to manage him well. He's doing well with him so far, so long may that continue. And to wrap up the episode, let's talk about Estevao. I mean, the title of this video is going to be Estevao, is he a future Ballon d'Or winner? I mean, he has the potential to be that. I mean, I genuinely believe I don't think there's a better prospect out there in world football at the moment. I think I wouldn't even class Lamine Yamal as a prospect anymore because he's been doing it for 2 years now. So I'm not sure there's a better prospect out there than Estevao.
Yeah, I don't think you're far wrong. Like you say, in my opinion, Lamine Yamal's the best player in the world, so I don't think you can call him a prospect anymore. Yeah, phenomenal.
Mate, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? He's 18 years old. He's come over from Brazil, and he just doesn't seem phased, mate. He plays. He's humble. He's not greedy. He hasn't got all of the stardom gone to his head. I mean, he's obviously this isn't anything to do with about football, but he's a big follower of God and goes to church a lot. So you'd have to worry less about him off the pitch of 18-year-old coming over to London earning good money, going clubbing and stuff like that. You can't see him doing much of that at all. Yeah. The sky is genuinely the limit. He's absolutely ridiculous, and I have to give props to the sporting directors, to the owners, and to Joe Shields for recommending him so highly. But everybody wanted him, and we managed to get him, and we managed to convince him, and now we're seeing the fruits of it. But he genuinely is sky's the limit. He could be whoever he wants to be, and if he keeps working in the way he is off the pitch and keeps concentrating, he could genuinely be one of the best players in the world next year, let alone in a few years' time.
Yeah.
If he gets properly up to his talent, and then you've got Cole Palmer and you've got João Pedro and you've got Quenda next year, it could be ridiculous, our attack.
Yeah, I mean, I can't add much more. I think you've summarised it perfectly. The only thing I'll say is the attribute I love the most about him so far is just the fact that he seems like he genuinely cares and wants to be at Chelsea. He's not, like you say, he had every offer possible. He could have gone anywhere in the world and he chose Chelsea. So it's not because we're paying him more than anyone else, because we're not paying him what he's actually on such a minimal wage when you compare him to the rest of the squad. So I think
that'll last very long.
No, exactly. But he genuinely wants to be at the club and he cares. Like you say, he was nervous because he was starting his first Champions League game for Chelsea. You don't often get that. And yeah, I'm just so excited to see where he ends up, because he, like you said, he could do anything. The world is literally at his feet. He's on 60 grand a week, so he's below. These are all of the players that he has paid less than. Raheem Sterling, Reece James, Wesley Fofana, Enzo Fernandez, Marc Cucurella, Pedro Neto, Moises Caicedo, Cole Palmer, João Pedro, Tosin, Jarell Hato, Garnacho, Jamie Gittins, Mykhailo Mudryk, Levi Cole, Liam Delap, Benoit Badiashile, Axel Disasi, and he is paid the exact same as Robert Sanchez.
Yeah, that's mental.
That is crazy. And yeah, so for anyone that thinks that,
again, that's massive props to the sporting directors and the owners,
sure,
because as soon
they
as he
sold him
got
the
that
plan.
over the line and you sold him the plan, they showed how much they cared about him and nurturing him through, because they had him over a few times. They've made sure him and his family have settled in well. Like the off the pitch stuff they've done to make sure that the on the pitch stuff is the best is fantastic. So props to them. I'm not always their biggest fans. I'm not always their biggest. I'm usually their biggest critics, should I say? So fair play to them. And looking at players like Estevao and then others that will come through, and like how Cole's hit the ground running, etc., etc. He's only going to feed into the project more of when we want to go and sign these talents. So fair play to everyone. I still think they could do other things better, but fair play to everybody for the Estevao stuff. His world is his oyster, as we say, and great win in the Champions League. 2 wins on the bounce there, 2 wins on the bounce after the international break. Some momentum building, so let's keep it going, and we'll go and beat Sunderland at the weekend, hopefully. Well, but for that, we'll wrap up the episode. We'll be back later on today with the Sunderland preview, and we'll catch you all soon. Peace.